Get them out of the public schools if that is what that means. Shut down the internet if that's what that means. Take away the smartphone if that's what that means. Take them out of that friend group if that's what that means.
So my question for you is, how can Christians protect their children from the destructive culture around them without blocking them off completely from the outside world? I think a lot of parents are wrestling with that. I'm sure you're wrestling with that currently with 6 kiddos. But what would be your advice for Christian parents on that issue?
Yeah. I would go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6, where the Lord commands his people, fathers and mothers particularly, but fathers especially, to be the ones who are teaching, educating your children. Remember, education is not just data download. It is virtue formation. It is formation of the kind of person that this individual, made in the image of God, is growing up to be. And fathers and mothers, you are called by God specifically and by God providentially to be that number one influence in your children. I mean, the Lord gave those children to you, okay, not to somebody else. He didn't give them to the state. He didn't give them to the teachers. He didn't even give them to your pastor or the Sunday school teachers. He gave them to you. And so you need to be the first and primary influence of your children, raising them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord, which means if you detect that there has been somebody else that is having a more of an influence, a shaping influence in that child's life, whether it be a peer, whether it be a smartphone, whether it be an internet connection, whether it be a teacher at the public school, and that is drawing them away from your voice and your influence toward the Lord, toward fatherhood in God, toward salvation in Christ, you need to step in between those things, and you need to become the godly influence in your children. Get them out of the public schools if that is what that means. Shut down the internet if that's what that means. Take away the smartphone if that's what that means. Take them out of that friend group if that's what that means. Remember, Jesus' discipleship call is very radical. Whatever causes you to sin, go ahead and cut it off, gouge it out. And we need to be willing to do that for and with our own families. Now, that said, don't hear me advocating a retreatist mindset, okay? I just, spent 10, 15 minutes already in this podcast advocating for a real presence in culture, in neighborhoods, in society. And it's going to be a leavening presence. It's going to be a presence that really will see Christian influence. They're going to know that we are Christians by our love. But do not use your children as pawns in the culture war, okay? I think that's one of the mistakes that previous generations have made. It's like, well, if I put my child in this, yes, he's going to be around a bunch of terrible people, but at least I get to influence them with the gospel. Well, hopefully, but also what's going on with your child who the Lord has given to you specifically to disciple and to make sure to raise in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. So don't hear me. I'm not saying don't ever, get involved in difficult relationships. Absolutely, you're going to. Don't hear me say that you've got to remove yourself from all secular or, atheistic or otherwise environments. No, just be sure that you are going into those spheres with the truth strapped around your waist and equipped to be able to defend it, not only yourself, but also your children.